Stampers, Deb Valder here, your Fun Stampers Journey Coach, and today I'm going to bring you another card using the Snow Frames die. This is a beautiful little frame that we have, and I actually cut out another frame inside of it, but I want to show you how to use it with these adorably stinking cute snowmen. It's called Snowmen Days. There's a set of 13 stamps in it, and it is a bundle. It has all kinds of dies to go along with it for your snowmen. So that's the stamp set that we're going to be using, Snowmen Days. It's so cute. And then, like I said, we're going to be using the Snow Frames die, and along with that, complementing that, is going to be our Journey rectangles. And I think that these two go hand in hand. We also have the one that is the ornament die, and you can use your either your square rectangles or your squares or your rectangle dies to go along with them. They just complement them each and other so well. All right, so let me get started. There's not a lot to this card. I love to color, and I did color with my colored pencils. So let's get started. I did start off with a regular base card of 11 by 4 1/4. I'm going to grab my crease tool and just crease it down nicely. All right, so that's my base card, and I'm going to start with my little snowflakes from that snowman set. There's a lot of cute little pieces that are in there. There are, let me just point them out to you. There's little candy canes, there's a poinsettia, there's a star, another star, snowflake. There is, I think that's holly, some really cute little sayings to go along with it, and they all mix and match just so nicely. All right, so I'm going to take this little snowflake out of here, and I'm just going to stamp it randomly in the middle of the card right here, because that's going to be framed by our snowflake frame. All right. Alrighty, and I'm doing this with the pool play. I picked up with the colors in my snowmen, their little jackets and whatnot. I picked those up, the colors of that with the pool play too, because remember, all of our colored pencils match our stamps, which match our cardstock, which match, you know, it goes on and on and on. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie. It's just amazing. All right, so I stamped the background of this. Now what I did was I ran this through my Amaze machine, and all I'm going to have to do is just take my bloom tool and just clean it out. Now this cleans out very nicely. You just rub it along, and like I said, it just cleans out so nicely. These are very good dies. They are very precision cut, so that all you have to do is just pop these out, and we're good to go. Alrighty, so here's our little snowflake die. All right, this is our little frame. Now we're going to take this one step beyond. All right, very intricate dies. If you happen to find any, and I don't, oh, there's one. If you happen to find any, all you have to do is take that same tool that you, remember, there are 7 tools that go along with this, okay? So I just used the brush end. This time, I call this my dental tool, and this is my favorite one. But if you have to remove it, you just push this down. There's a little tiny ball bearing in there, and inside here are little notches. So what you would do is you can put it in as far or as little as you want, all right? And then what you do is just let this go, and it locks it all into place, all right? So then the next thing that you're going to do is to clean up, all right? So I think we got everything out of there. Now what I'm going to do, let me just get these out of the way here. And I need my rectangle die. So what I did was I took my rectangle die, I laid it over the inside here. Now you can use this as your canvas, and you can just stamp on here, and that's all well and good also. But because I want to cut out my little snowman, because there is a die for it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to use this as a frame. So if you're somebody who loves to do pictures of your children or your family and put them into frame cards, this is the perfect thing to do. All right, so I could have taken this and done it on my base card, all right, and then run it through my Amaze machine, and then just cut the hole in it and use that as my card for my Christmas giving. All right, but we're going to do this with the little snowman guy. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to run it through the machine, and I'll be right back. These pop out so well that all I had to do was to just take this out. So this is where the inside of that that piece was, where I cut out the rectangle. Now this is a great piece to use for another card because it's a perfect rectangle, and I'll just put that aside and you put it into my little box, and we're ready to go for that. So that was my rectangle die. So it went from this one right here to this right here. All right, now remember what I've always told you, with these dies, they're just so very versatile. You can take and do a lot of different things with them. Now I do take and cut out a bunch of things and then just put them in my little packets. So these are the packets that we use. Let me just show you this one right here. These are our little pouches, and these fit into our Journey storage system, and I love them. I've got a whole video on our storage unit, and you just take and you put these little pieces in the inside. You have the little dividers right here that separate the red rubber stamps and your dies so nothing gets cut. But what I do is I cut out, if I'm going to get everything out and I'm going to emboss and I'm going to, you know, cut out, I'm going to do a whole bunch of them. So the next time I have a card that I need to go to, I'm not going to have to get everything out. I'm just going to take and just pull out one and take and do it. It's a huge time saver, let me tell you. But with this one right here, let me just show you. You can take, like I said, and this is the one that has the border die right up here, and this would be your canvas. This one is the one that has the canvas in the middle and the border all the way around. So those are the way they're supposed to be used. But then what I did, like we're going to use today, is I made a frame out of this one by just putting our rectangle in here. Now you can also take and put a smaller rectangle in here. So again, if you have a picture that you're going to use for your Christmas cards, you can take and make a smaller frame and put your picture in there. And it can go that way or that way. It's kind of universal that way. All right, and then the other thing you can do is you can take and you can make borders out of these. So here's the square one, and I used a square die for the inside. So that would be this one right here. Let me just show you. It is this one right here. If you took this one right here and put your square inside there, that's what you would have there. So you can also make that a little frame also. And then what I like to do is to take and cut them in half, or not half, but just cut off the border on the top. So I would just take a scrap piece of paper, just a little bit larger than this, and cut out that piece, and then you have the top to this card right here, which is really kind of amazing. And then you can cut out bits and pieces and use them for corner pieces also, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so if you just want one little snowflake here on the corner, you can do that too. All right, so those are just a couple of little added bonuses to this little die right here that we have. And so now let me just show you what we're going to do. I've already stamped these, so I'm going to take my mini adhesives here, and I am going to put them on the back here and get this all ready for our card and get it ready to go. All right, so what I'm doing is just trying to find some solid pieces and putting these on those little solid pieces. All right, so here's one right here. I'm going to take my awesome scissors that never get glue on them, and oops, I already did, cut them in half and just do a couple of little tiny ones around this border right here. All right, so oops, let's see, we'll just stick that one right here. All right, so I think we've got a bunch of them ready to go. Let me just cut maybe another one right here. You can put as many or as little as it on that you want. You just don't want it to cave in when it is on your card or going through the mail. Actually, let's put this one over here. And this one's a little bit tinier, so we'll put that one over here. Okay? Alrighty, so we've got that done and ready to go. Let's just take these off so we're ready. Oh, you know what? I don't want to put these on the bottom yet. Silly me. Let's take these off. I'll show you why. All right, so now what I need to do is to get a scrap piece of paper, and I have just a scrap piece of paper that is actually 5.5 or 4.25 inches wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm just going to rip it. All right, so here's my first piece. So that's going to be my underneath piece, and that's why I didn't want that to be adhered yet. So there's that one. All right, now this one I want to be a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is to just kind of eyeball it. And actually this one I'm going to cut because I want this to be the top. So I'm just going to take my Grand Pro shears, cut that off, and just see how that looks right here on the top. All right, so I have 2 layers of snow, just like that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is to adhere this to this. All right, and what I'm going to do with that is use my amazing craft glue. All right. So just like kind of put little dots here and there, not too much because you don't want it oozing through. And this is such amazing glue that you don't have to worry about it too awful much. All right, so this is going to be my, let's actually glue these two together first. All right, so here's this one and this one. All right, here we go. I love this glue. All right, now we're going to take this one and add it to our frame, and I made it just a tad bit bigger so that I could just trim it off. Okay, there's that. Okay, now let's take our Grand Pro shears and just trim this off just a tad bit. There we go. Now it's all nice and even. Alrighty, and I still have my foam squares up here. Alright, we're almost done. Okay, so there's that. This is a great little card to do for the holidays. Alright, so now let's just make sure I have all of the little doodads off of here. 1 and 2. Like I said, you can put as many or as little of these on as you want. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, and that's going to get glued right onto here. Whoops, you know what we need to do? We need to put some foam squares here. Now for that, let's see, I'll put on some, here we go. It doesn't matter where we put these. I probably should have put the bigger ones on so I wouldn't have to use as many, but all is good. Alright, then we'll take these off here. So much fun. This card is so adorable. Okay, and then we're just going to add it to our base card. I'm just lining up the sides. How sweet is that? Now, what I did was I took some of my Journey Glaze and I just shook it up and I just colored onto my frame. I just kind of slathered it on wherever I needed it. Get some around the outside of the frame here. And that's to make it sparkle. I did another card like this also, but I think for this one with the snow, it just came out so cute. Make sure you watch all of my videos. They have just some really good techniques in there, and I think there's some really good cards in there also. All right, so we're almost done. Now what I did was I stamped and embossed my little snowmen, and then what I did was I colored them with our colored pencils. And these, I happen to use the watercolor pencils. This one I used the pure color pencils, so that's the difference between the two of them. Remember, with our colored pencils, I don't want to get this, that one's still wet a little bit from the sparkle. We have sets that have 2 layers of colored pencils. All of our Journey colors are in here. So this is just a great investment. You know, the holidays are coming up. If you get to make a Christmas wish list, I would definitely put that on there because that is something that you would really, really want to have. It's just so pretty. All right, so now what we're going to do is to take these little guys and we're going to put some foam squares on the back end of them. And we are going to tuck him and her into our snow. All right, so these just get slid right underneath here, but yet they are still popped up. And we have one last thing to do. That's how simple this card is. It's so adorable. And then you can take one of these adorable little sayings and stick it on the inside. Okay, there's nobody I'd rather spend time with. 'Tis the season, and Merry Christmas. So this is a complete set for your cards. All right, so the last thing that we need to do is to take our Journey Glaze and we're going to add it right up here on the top. So it just sparkles, sparkles, sparkles. And the reason I put the whole thing all together first, especially in my classes, is because I have them put everything together, and then the last thing that they do is to put on this sparkles, the Journey Sparkle Cuts, because then they can just set it aside and take it home. Otherwise, you know, it's going to get stuck to something, and I tell them, do not, I know it's going to be on your dashboard drying as you go home, but what I don't want you to do is to stop quickly, because it'll get stuck to the windshield, all right? It'll go flying into the windshield, and it will stick, because that is glue, all right? All right, now what I'm going to do is to just take my media tray here, add some of my little sparkle silk. I'm sorry, not sparkle silk. These are the Journey Sparkle Cuts, all right? And then, isn't that so uber cute? I love it. I absolutely love it. This is just such a fun time of the year to get crafting. And now that the weather's getting a little bit colder, it's time. It's time to get out your stuff. I just love this little stamp set. You're going to see me using it a lot because it's that time of the year, but they're just so stinking cute. A lot of times, Fun Stampers Journey will take things from their mini catalog, which is what this is, so it's only good until December. But sometimes they take and put things into the main catalog, and I hope this is one of them, because this is such an adorable little set. I hope you had a good time watching my video. I hope you do try this. It's so cute. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. You take care and have a great day.